South and Central Asia. In April, Trump announced tariffs on partners across South and Central Asia, an unexpected economic shock on countries already facing debt vulnerability to the PRC. 50% tariffs on India, one of the highest rates in the world, tore a needless rupture in bilateral ties that sacrificed decades of painstaking trust building between our two countries. Dragging on negotiations for over a year cost us the timely convening of the annual Quad Leaders Summit and weakened our posture in the Indo-Pacific. While we have waited for more than a year for an administration official to publicly testify about the region, Trump has sabotaged U.S. regional interests and decimated our diplomatic toolbox, putting us on the back foot as major changes swept across South and Central Asia. In April, Trump announced tariffs on partners across South and Central Asia, an unexpected economic shock on countries already facing debt vulnerability to the PRC. 50% tariffs on India, one of the highest rates in the world, tore a needless rupture in bilateral ties that sacrificed decades of painstaking trust building between our two countries. Dragging on negotiations for over a year cost us the timely convening of the annual Quad Leaders Summit and weakened our posture in the Indo-Pacific. In May, India and Pakistan fought their most serious military conflict in decades, risking nuclear escalation in a region of 2 billion people. But a reminder of the indispensable role of U.S. diplomacy was overshadowed by Trump's insistence on claiming credit for the ceasefire and offering to mediate the Kashmir dispute. In September, Nepal experienced widespread anti-corruption protests that led to the Prime Minister's resignation and new elections next month. Tomorrow, Bangladesh will go to the polls to decide on a new constitution and choose its leadership for the first time since Sheikh Hasina's ouster. These major political transitions present a rare opportunity for the U.S. to strategically leverage our democracy assistance to support growing regional demand for accountable governance. Yet the State Department's rejection of democracy programming and the decimation of USAID has stripped us the very tools that are needed to advance our interests. Further hamstringing our engagement in the region, in December, Trump took the unprecedented step of recalling career ambassadors in Nepal and Sri Lanka, weakening our diplomatic leadership in two key states. While self-sabotage defines much of the administration's regional policy so far, cruelty most accurately describes its approach to Afghanistan and our Afghan allies. Nowhere in the region have Trump's aid cuts been more devastating than in Afghanistan, where child malnutrition has reached its highest level in a quarter century. The State Department did not even provide life-saving assistance after 2 deadly earthquakes killed thousands of people. Most shameful of all, the State Department is leading the betrayal of our Afghan allies who have been shut off from resettlement to the United States. Secretary Rubio dismantled the Office of the Coordinator for Afghan Relocation Efforts and did not appoint a permanent coordinator, violating the law passed under a Republican majority in 2024. When my bipartisan provision to reestablish the CARE Office made it into the final version of NDAA, Republican leadership yanked it out just days before it was set to pass. On top of that, the administration has created a living nightmare for over 1,000 Afghans stuck in limbo at the Relocation Processing Center at Camp Asila. In fact, when I asked Deputy Secretary Regas about the fate of the Afghans at CAS, he'd never heard of it. Now, the State Department is closing CAS and offering payment to Afghan allies who self-deport back to Taliban terror, breaking our promise to provide them a chance at a future in the United States. I'm concerned it's only a matter of time before the administration leans into the unconscionable and recognizes the Taliban without improving the rights of Afghan women and girls. Assistant Secretary Kapur, you take the helm of the South and Central Bureau at a time when we are in sharp need of transparency, strategic coherence, and a return to humanity. And I look forward to gaining some clarity about the administration's policies today.
President Trump's national security strategy makes clear that we must put America first and do so through active engagement with vital parts of the world. Under President Trump's leadership, this has advanced our economic and security interests while helping our partners. I see the benefits every day in my Bureau's work in the South Asia region. Consisting of India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Maldives, Nepal, and Bhutan, South Asia is vitally important. India alone has well over 1 billion people and occupies a subcontinental landmass. A hostile power dominating South Asia could exert coercive leverage over the world economy. The United States must prevent this from happening and keep the region free and open. As Secretary Rubio has said, America first does not mean America alone. To achieve our goals, we must cooperate with like-minded partners who can share the burden. Often, this will require us to help our partners build strategic capacity, enabling them better to integrate into the world economy, preserve their autonomy, and contribute to a free and open region. We have many tools to do this. We, of course, want to expand our trade relationships with the South Asian countries because robust trade will make all of us stronger and more prosperous. And just last week, President Trump and Prime Minister Modi reached an agreement on an historic trade framework. And 2 days ago, the Trump administration signed a trade deal with Bangladesh, providing American exporters with access to Bangladesh's market of about 175 million people. But beyond trade, I would point to 3 broad categories of approach to strategic capacity building that the Trump administration is deploying: defense cooperation, targeted investment, and diplomacy. Defense cooperation includes military sales and transfers, co-development of systems and platforms, and bilateral and multilateral exercises. Targeted investments combine U.S. seed funding, American technology and expertise, and private industry. And diplomacy involves institutionalized touch points between senior leaders, as well as more ad hoc engagements to address an emergent opportunity or challenge, and strategic messaging to support our initiatives. We employ these tools in South Asia as we help our partners build capacity, strategic capacity that is, increase their prosperity and protect their sovereignty, outcomes that make America safer and more prosperous as well. India, with its size, location, and commitment to a free and open region, anchors South Asia, and more broadly, the western half of the Indo-Pacific. The United States and India maintain high-level diplomatic touch points, such as the 2+2 ministerial, and cooperate closely in the defense, technology, and energy sectors, bilaterally and also through the Quad. Cooperation in these areas has remained robust, even as we resolved long-standing issues in our trade relationship, as evidenced by the renewed 10-year U.S.-India Defense Framework Agreement, the Trust Initiative, and Indian purchases of U.S. products ranging from drones to liquefied natural gas. Following the trade framework President Trump reached last week with Prime Minister Modi, we can now focus on other shared priorities: lowering barriers to trade with one of the largest economies in the world, and opening the way to even more fulsome cooperation. This will enhance our mutual prosperity and help India to defend its sovereignty, both in land and in its maritime near abroad. Pakistan is another important partner in the region. We're working together with Pakistan to realize the potential of its critical mineral resources, combining U.S. government seed financing with private sector know-how to the benefit of both of our countries. Our trade in energy and agriculture is expanding as well. And our ongoing counterterrorism cooperation helps Pakistan combat internal security threats while addressing transnational dangers that could harm the U.S. or our partners. Bangladesh, Nepal, Maldives, Sri Lanka, and Bhutan's strategic locations afford them outsized importance, but they also can become targets for coercion. Defense cooperation with the United States helps them to protect their borders and waterways against encroaching powers. And carefully targeted investment can provide these states with high-quality, transparent, non-coercive support for critical infrastructure like ports, telecom networks, and energy portals, helping them to avoid the dangers of debt-trap diplomacy. I've been discussing cooperation between the U.S. and South Asia, but in closing, I'll point to one other important form of cooperation: cooperation between the administration and Congress on these issues. We both recognize South Asia's vital importance. Let's work together in the region, helping our partners to help themselves and making the United States safer, stronger, and more prosperous.
So after President Trump's historic trade agreement with India was signed last week, we can look forward to a deepening relationship with India. India shares our objective of ensuring that China cannot bully its neighbors or threaten American assets in the Indian Ocean. What next steps can we take to advance our relationship with India, particularly in the defense sector?
Well, I think we can keep going the way we have been going. One of the remarkable things about the relationship is that despite some of the uncertainties surrounding the trade relationship in recent months, our other initiatives and efforts with India have continued forward: defense, energy, technology, and so on. And on the defense side, we have a robust agenda. We just signed the 10-year framework, which is going to help us move forward in interoperability, in joint exercises, and many of the things that we do and have been doing in recent years. So we will expand that. We have also some potential purchases of weapon systems in the pipeline that will help India to protect itself better, ensure its sovereignty. Also will create American jobs, be good for both sides. So we have a number of things in the pipeline, and I think that momentum has continued despite some of the uncertainties around trade, and it's going to continue now even more so because that's the trade issue has been.
You are the Assistant Secretary for South and Central Asia, and does that mean that all of the ambassadors in the region report to you?
With the organizational structure of the department, of the bureau rather, works that way. Yes. Okay.
So given that you oversee the ambassadors, and this is the most transparent administration in history, can you commit to working with us, the chair and I, to bring Sergio Gor, ambassador to India, to meet with members of the committee?
Mr. Gor is, I think, a very effective ambassador. He's done under his he's been there a short time. We've had a number of really good outcomes. He's also a close confidant of the president. He has his trust and confidence, and he and I work together well.
I understand.
I will discuss. I discuss all manner of things with him.
That is good, and I do recognize that he is special envoy, but he's ambassador, and as you just stated, you have command over ambassadors in the region, and I think that it would be important for him, given both of his roles, to come before the committee and answer questions, because as you mentioned, as we've all mentioned, this is an incredibly strategic and important and mighty region. So I just want to know if you would be willing to have him come before us, if you would work with us to bring him here.
Well, he and I discuss many issues, and I will discuss this positively.